Welcome to On the Record, powered by Leaders Lead Media Network and speakuniversity.org. I am your host, Tony Taylor, and this platform exists for one reason: you, the voter. Every election, we're asked to choose the people who will make the decisions that affect our families, our communities, our schools, our businesses, and our future. Yet, too often, we make those decisions based off of meaningless campaign ads, mailers, sound bites, or headlines. I wanted to create something different. On the Record is a place where candidates step away from campaign slogans and have real long-form conversations about who they are, what they believe, and how they intend to lead if they're elected. My commitment is simple. Every candidate is treated with respect. Every candidate is given the opportunity to ask meaningful questions, and every voter deserves the information that they need to make an informed decision. Whether you're voting for a city council member, a school board member, commissioner, sheriff, state representative, state senator, member of Congress, or any elected office. So as you watch, I encourage you to take notes, to think about what matters the most to you. Compare the candidates' answers, and remember that many of our guests have agreed to continue engaging with your questions long after this interview. Now, let's get on the record. Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. All right, before we meet today's guest, I'd like to let you know that every candidate on the ballot for this office has been offered the same opportunity to participate in On the Record. Our mission is not to tell you who to vote for. Our mission is to give you the information that you need to make an informed decision. Joining me today is Nick Oloo, who is running for state representative for District 25. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to show up here. Thank you so much, Tony.
Oh, of course. You're looking good today, man. I love that.
Thank you.
Suit.
I need to look good. I wish I was in my t-shirts, but voters would want to see the best of you. So, first impression matters.
Yeah, no, I hear that. For the folks that are listening to this podcast on audio only, I encourage you to go over to YouTube and check out Nick's amazing freaking suit. He is looking sharp. So before we get this going, tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. If you could, really quick, beyond the campaign, who is Nick?
Well, by way of introduction, Tony, I am a community advocate. I've been an educator. I'm a pastor with a congregation, and not just a pastor who is within the congregation. I've worked with the communities. I have been with the communities. I've practically been bringing communities together, and I've listened to communities, people who have real problems, because I lead them as a pastor and I talk to them and they come to me for conversations because I would say there's a limit. There's just so much a pastor can do, but there's that bit, that can be done by the community leader. And so that's the reason why I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump into the fray and see if I can help my community better.
I love it. When people best describe you, like your closest friends, maybe a partner, best friend,
Mhm.
what would they say? What would you think that would best describe you, sir?
Oh my goodness. They would say a dedicated leader,
Mm,
someone who has dedicated his life to serve the community unreservedly. Because I'm a pastor, like I've said, an educator, a community advocate in all these roles. And I've worked alongside families that are facing issues. Because if you read my literature, strong families and strong families make stronger community. And my people, those who know me, they are looking at someone who has sacrificially given himself out to help those that are in need. I'm not a politician. I'm just a servant. And when I walk around the communities and I ask them to vote for me, I'm asking them, hey, I'm just a servant. And I'm just asking you to allow me to serve you better.
Was there a defining moment that made
Mhm.
you run for office?
Absolutely. There's several defining moments. Like I said, I'm a community leader and I'm also a social worker. And I come across so many families that have family members that would want to get a job, for example, but they cannot get a job because the businessman feels that they're not competitive enough and they cannot be employed because they may not be able to rise up to the occasion or meet their needs. That's just one example. I've met families in my church and even in the community as I work with them. I'm talking about families that have people with developmental disability, families that are that have needs, for example, but they don't know how to meet these needs. And these are practical examples. And so what they do, they come to the community leaders. Now, the community leaders that are clearly visible to the community are pastors, not the politicians. The politicians will put a town hall when there is an issue that is going on, and then they will respond to questions. But a community leader will not wait for a town hall, will walk among the communities, will visit the families, and will listen. And that's the kind of leadership that I want to bring. And so I've met families that have issues, and I would say, the ones that are vulnerable are the ones that are having family members that are suffering. Maybe the family members have autism, they have some developmental issues of some sort. They would want them to get a job so that they would feel like everybody else. I've met families that are struggling with low income. And I would also say I've met families that have children, for example, because that's one of my agenda. They have kids, they have to take them to the daycare, but they cannot afford daycare because it's too expensive. And so a lot of young women that I've met have to decide, am I going to raise up a family or am I going to look for a job and take care of myself? But sometimes they end up having children. Now, when they have kids, they probably may want 2 or 3 kids, but they can't because they cannot afford to pay for childcare, especially single women who would be there for them to, to share the responsibility with. And when they take them to the childcare or the day program, the day program is not going to accept their kids without money. And that's a problem. So they have to jungle up. They have to jungle up. Even employers, for example, they may not be able to understand, hey, I need to leave early and go take care of my a child. Hey, I need to get another job to be able to take care of my little one. Yeah. So these are some of the issues. I'm sorry, I'm going a little further, but these are some of the practical issues that I'm, everyday issues that I'm facing with them, with the community.
Yeah, no need to apologize. I mean, that is everything that we need leaders in a community to run for. I think those are some really, really credible things that you're running for. And I'm crazy and I'm curious. I said I'm
Right.
crazy.
Mhm.
I'm curious.
It's okay.
I'm curious. Since you started running for office, is there
Mhm.
anything that surprised you about campaigning?
I mean, I keep getting surprised about the campaigns because most politicians would be like, hey, I will reduce the cost of a living, which is perfectly okay. Hey, I've been, because this is what is, for the most politicians, they will run for politics, one, because they've held several offices. You know, they have been this, they have been schooled this, they have read this, they have been in this committee, they have been in this kind of leadership and all that. I mean, this is good CV, you know, it makes good CV, but the family doesn't care whether you have been a chairman of certain committee or whether you have been, how many times you've been running and you've won. And so it doesn't, that doesn't define you. Well, it's good CV, like I've said, but it will not make you be able to solve the problems. The reason why I'm running, and the reason why I would say that it's surprising me, and the reason why these problems are not solved, because we keep, you know, circulating leaders, or let me say, for lack of the right word, you know, the leaders that are still there, they keep going and coming back, but the real issues that are facing the common community members are not getting solved. Why? Because there are just no leaders who are able, or rather brave enough, to say, hey, you know what? I'm here. I want to help you out. And that's exactly what I did, because I've been saying that. I met a family the other day who was telling me that my child can't get a job. What do I do? Well, of course, you tell them that I'll help you get a job, but nobody's able to employ that person because there are no policies in place to encourage businessmen to employ this kind of population. I've met families that have young people that have graduated from high school. There are no policies in place to devise programs or to help young people when they have graduated, programs that will help them, keep them busy. Because, you know, it's up to you, the family, but that's not what our government does. Yeah. Our government is supposed to help the individual family. When they finish, there's supposed to be programs that are aligned for our young people, because they're the leaders of tomorrow. If you just leave them hanging and it's up to them to make a choice to go to college, you know what they're going to do? They will go and hang up with their fellow friends and peers. And before you realize, because we live in a state where marijuana is legalized, they will try it out. And they'll figure out, hey, how does it feel to feel high? How does it feel to drink? Hey, I'm 21 now. You know, that's what they'll be looking forward to. And since there's probably one apple among them, and here you have a kid who perhaps has never done any crime in his life or has never been involved in doing bad things, because he's working with a bad crowd, he'll find himself doing that. And then the family, the dad and the mom and the guardian, works all the time because they have to work to pay the bills, to pay their rent and all that. This young person who has just finished high school may not even be able to afford a simple college. Because one of the things that are running on is strong schools, strong education. If the state can come up with programs that would enable young people to go to college, once they finish high school, they go to college right away. They don't have to worry about who's going to pay for it. But we make it some, you know, a little bit of compulsory in some sense, so that they don't have time to hang around and do bad things. Because you know what? An idle mind is a devil's workshop. And so once the mind is idle, trust me, they're going to steal cars, they're going to get into drugs, they will get themselves into stealing and all that. And if you listen to the news, you'll be, oh, the juveniles were found doing this and that. Sometimes I drive around Tacoma and Federal Way, and you will always see police holding up young people. Why? Because they're idle. Mm-hmm. These are some of the things that I want to solve, because it's nobody who has been doing them. If we let the same leaders go back out, and keep taking them back simply because they've been chairs and members of committee, they will never solve this problem. But if you elect someone who has been working in the communities, you know, someone who has been talking to them like I've been doing, then I'll put these policies in place, you know, sit down in a committee or in that house and say, hey, I'm here because I want to help my community. And if they vote me in, I'll be able to bring in some of these issues that I've been hearing and say, we got to pass this because I'm going to help my community. They send me here and I need to see these changes. I need someone to tell me, yes, you've done it for me. Thank you.
Oh, man. Nick, I'm inspired. I'm so inspired, brother.
Thank you.
I am so inspired by
Thank you.
you and what it is that you're doing. Oh my God. And I'm curious, you talk about community, and I know when we talked the other day, you said that you're out in the community telling people about what it is that the platform that you're running on. And I'm curious, as you've knocked on doors and talked with voters, what concerns are you hearing over and over again?
Oh, well, it's a whole lot of stuff that I'm hearing. And I could go on and on and on. I've talked about affordable childcare. Something that I've not mentioned is healthcare, affordable housing, for example, safe neighborhoods. And I tell you what, these are basic needs. You don't have to, you don't need to ask for them. These are needs that a government needs to consider and, just be there for them about. I mean, it's good to, to focus on other things like taxes and all that. But as I knock doors, as I go to this stores meeting voters, because I was in the store yesterday, like I was telling you, I was in the stores and I was in the parking lot and I was asking someone, hey, would you vote for me? What would you want me to do? And I met some two young people. They were like, we want to buy a house. We are sharing with our friends. Oh, really? Why? Because we cannot afford to pay for our house rent. Now, housing is very expensive in Washington. If you ask me why, I don't know. Because people share houses. People share them. And I don't know why. Healthcare, for example. We all need healthcare. If you ask me, universal healthcare would be something that would be very good. Because, when you get sick, you need someone to go, somewhere to go to, or someone to take care of you, somewhere to go to. ER has become very expensive, for example. Just getting diagnosed with a certain problem that you may be having. People want healthcare. Right now, insurance is very expensive. People cannot get insurance. And I know this is a federal thing. And I hope that this time around, there'll be a switch in majority so that Democrats can take care of this problem, because everybody deserves, healthy lifestyle. You don't want to pray that I hope I don't get sick because I'm not able to afford this medication. That's a big problem. And I think we can solve it right from our own state. And I also mentioned for childcare, that perhaps I don't need to go back there. But then I also want to talk about housing, for instance. Why would it be so expensive for me to just get an apartment to rent? Why would it be so expensive? And then the other problem that we have in our state is congestion in traffic. I was texting and I was telling you traffic is so high, but why would it be like that? Why can't we come up with real problems to solve? And this is one of the reasons why I'm running too. Why can't we come up with real reasons to solve traffic issues in our state? Why do I need a car to drive to Tacoma? And then when I come back, it takes me like an hour to move from Tacoma to Puyallup. Yet we are a developed country. This is, I think, the fourth or the fifth, one of the most developed states in the United States. There are so many solutions in my mind that I can think about. We can build trams, sky trains, for example. We can increase buses. If you're living from Puyallup to Tacoma, you don't need a car. You just hop into a train and you're going to be there, unless you really need it. Stuff like that. We can construct more roads, more flyovers, and all that. Those are just some examples that people are talking about, to say the least.
Wow. So it sounds like you're actually one of those leaders that are really talking to the community. And I'm curious, we have a lot of leaders, and what we're going to talk about a little bit more about leadership here in a second. But we have a lot of leaders that goes to the House of Representatives, or they go to some sort of legislature, and they forget about the community. They forget about the promises that they make. How do our listeners, our viewers, how do they know that once you get there, you won't forget about us?
Because, Tony, we keep recycling leaders. If 80% of leaders that are vying, you look at the CV, they will tell you, I've been a chairman of that. I've been a committee of that. I've been a committee. And then you ask them, what have you done for the community? Zero. And voters are not educated enough because they believe, because I have been in this and this committee or a chair or this a school lead, I have the skill and the experience to lead. So once they get elected, they go and sit down, and they love those debates. They will stand on the floor nicely with their suit like I am, and they will do the debates. But they will not know what the community member is going through. They will not know that young lady cannot afford a childcare. They will not be able to know that even that caregiver out there cannot afford his or health insurance. They may not know that old man over there may not be able to go to the hospital when he gets sick tomorrow. These are really examples. These are practical examples because I talk to the community. They come to my church. I talk to them. And we have real conversations of what is going on. Just basic things.
Yeah.
They're not interested to know, some big bill. Okay, and get me right. I'm a Democrat, and it's okay to cut taxes and all that. I mean, it's okay to cut taxes so that they have more money in their pockets and all that. But what are we going to do? They would want to know, okay, fine. If you're going to tax the millionaire, so what are you going to do with that money? I mean, if he's going to make my life better, then that's fine. But if it's not going to make my life better, the millionaire perhaps may need that money. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for everybody to pay his share. That's okay. But I'm for the community, for the person who is hurting. That's what I want. Because every family deserves access to an affordable healthcare.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see. Every hardworking family deserves an affordable housing. They should be able to buy a house to save. If I cannot save, is it possible for me to have some kind of a program that will be able to help me save? Buy even a condominium?
Yeah.
If I cannot get to work, I'm not able to drive. Am I able to find my way, hop on a train and be able to commute back? Because Washington's population is expanding. That's a fact. Today in Puyallup, the population of Puyallup is expanding. That's a fact. There are more apartments that are growing. And the more apartments are constructed, it means that more traffic, more cars, more amenities that are needed.
Yeah.
And so when you talk to people, they will tell you, okay, I just moved to Washington because I have to give it up for the leaders that are here. It's a friendly state compared to the other states, especially for immigrants that just want to make a living, and everybody's working hard. Washington, everybody is working hard. But then we also need to take care of real stuff that will make the family, that family be able to just be happy. Just look forward to meet your family and Sunday go to church and Saturday relax with the family, not looking for a second job. And the kids will be by themselves. They just need time to bond with their families, and that's what makes a strong family.
Thank you. So we're going to get into leadership here in a sec, but before we get there, I think it's important for the viewers and the listeners to know some personal stuff about you. I think, yeah, you judge a person sometimes by their favorites, right? To see if there's
Right.
some kind of
Right.
relatability. So I'm going to ask
Uh-huh.
really quick questions, and it's kind of like a rapid fire. Just, say for instance, what's your? I would ask, what's your favorite local restaurant? Boom, McDonald's, and then we're going to go to the next one. Okay, so let's start with that one. What's your favorite restaurant?
Outback. I like Outback because of the meat. The meat is very good, and that's where I go. I take my family there. They have a very nice family setting, and they serve people very well. If they're listening, I'll tell them keep up the good work.
Awesome. Okay, really quick. Favorite place in your district? Favorite place in general?
South Hill. There is a new community up, I think, bordering South Hill and Graham. It's very neat and clean. The grass has been manicured pretty well. And I think the developer there has done a good job. Houses are neat and everything is organized and in place. And I think I like that. And I wish other places in Puyallup would also emulate that example.
Yeah. All right. Coffee or tea?
Yeah. Tea. With
Morning
milk and
person?
sugar.
I love it. Morning person or night owl?
I would say a mix of all.
Okay.
I'm not a very morning person. I don't wake up very early in the morning, but I'm a night owl because I don't go to bed until I get it done. So that makes me a night owl. But again, if I have stuff to do, I have to wake up very early and, get it when I'm fresh. But then I won't go to bed until I get it done.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? Well, I'm more of a studious person. I don't read books that much, but I would say one of the books that I've read is Obama's book, Audacity of Hope, because, it depicts a story of humility, and then it gives hope to that child who has no any hope that someday things are going to turn around for them. So that has always been my favorite book, Audacity of Hope.
All right. Dog? Are you a dog or a cat person? Or neither?
Neither. We don't keep animals with my wife because we work. Of course, we work all the time. So it's going to be hard to leave a dog home or a cat home.
Awesome. All right. So this next round for our listeners and viewers, this is where I want y'all, when y'all are listening to this, y'all are watching this, think of yourself as kind of like the interviewer. Like we're interviewing Nick for this position because at the end of the day, you are interviewing him for a job that will surpass anything or any job like you've ever seen. This will be the person that will set the temperature for our community, that will set the laws. So get out a pen and paper and remember these answers for when you get ready to go to the ballot. I think you're going to be pretty pleased. Are you ready for this next section, Nick?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. I love it. So this next part, we're going to talk about leadership. And if you could really quick, just give us the points and then we'll move to the next one.
Okay.
And so with leadership, can you tell me about a difficult decision that you've made where there isn't a clear or right answer?
I would say there comes a time when you have to make decisions. And some decisions they may not be right, they may be wrong. Like supporting small businesses versus local economic growth, for instance. Small businesses are good for everyone because you don't have to go to work. You have a small business. And when you talk about local economic growth, it comes with should I liberalize businesses in a place where there's need for some form of regularity to take place, something like that. And someone would be like, hey, I want to sell pot. For instance, I want to sell marijuana. I want to sell this, and this is being regulated. And I'm just giving an example. Or I want to do maybe be a computer, for example. And so you're juggling with environmental health and local business and all that. So should I say yes? Should I say no? And so these are kind of decisions that needs a lot of thoughts. You need to take everything into consideration, and you don't need to make everybody happy. But I'd always go for win-win situation. Win-win. Win-win does it better, wins it all, so that nobody loses, nobody wins. Stay in the middle, so that we get it moving, we get it done. Yeah.
Thank you. What's an issue that you've changed your mind on over the last few years, and what caused you to think your position? So pretty much something you're like, oh, I think this is that. And then all of a sudden, I don't think that way no more because of this thing.
I had to change my position.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one, I should say. As a pastor, for instance, and I would say this, people have asked me so many times, hey, what do you think about LGBTQ, for example? And I got a lot of, I would say I got a lot of opposition, and I got a lot of, lashing. Why would you run as a Democrat, yet you're a pastor, you were conservative and all that? And of course, before that, I was like, no, this is not right. But then I realized I had to change my position and say, you know what? We all come from different backgrounds. We are all born different. We all have different cultures, for example. And as a pastor, you have to love everybody. Love them the way they are. Accept them the way they are. They're just people like you, but don't condemn them. Like my other people, like my friends from the other party condemn. No, these are sinners and all that. Well, we are all sinners, but don't condemn them. Just love them. That's one example where I had to, stop and think. You gotta love everybody. If you're gonna be a leader, love everybody and appreciate them.
So you're saying that you support the LGBTQ community. That's what I'm getting from that.
I support them. In other words, I don't judge them, for example, because that's one example that I wouldn't condemn them. Hey, you're sinners, you've done a wrong thing and all that. But as a leader, as a pastor, I get people from all walks of life. They come to church and I pray for them and I share with them the word of God.
Thank you. Public service often requires a balance of competing priorities. And I'm curious if you can share a time in your life where your actions demonstrated the values that you hope to bring into office. So we're talking
one of those
about
values.
All right, go ahead.
One of those values that I hope that everybody will resonate with me is that the family comes first. And within the family, we have different kinds of people. In our family, I may have a child, for example, and I don't know if I would say this right here. For example, I lost a child from drug overdose. Now, that doesn't mean that I will condemn every child who is into drugs and all that, but they need love. We've got families who their family members are involved in stuff that they don't appreciate, for example. But these people deserve to be loved, just like I've said. Everybody deserves love. Love is a powerful thing. As a leader, I'm not going to condemn anybody. I'm going to love them. I'm going to tell them it's okay. We appreciate you. We understand you. Because the community needs you as well. It's your own choice. we respect it. It's just like that woman who wants to decide whether to have a child or not. It's okay. We understand. We respect you. Because good leadership, from my experience, as a leader and as an educator, is one who listens. I'm going to listen to them. You don't know why that person decided to go that direction.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But listen to their story and embrace them and understand it. And let them just be happy, because that's all they want to do. At the end of the day, they just want to have a meal at the table and be able to go back to bed happy. Tomorrow, they want to wake up for another day to go and make a living. That's what we all do. But there always has to be someone who's going to lead and make these decisions, and someone who understands, and someone who will come and say, yes, here I am. Like Prophet Isaiah said, yes, here I am, send me. And that's what I'm doing. I'm asking the people, here I am, guys, send me. Let me go do it for you. Let me go make decisions that will make your life better. Right now, as we are talking, there's someone stuck in the traffic. There's someone who's not going to have a meal for tonight. There's someone wondering, today I'm just going to have water and I'm going to bed. Right now, there's someone in the hospital who is alone and does not have anybody to come and visit them. There's that basic humanity that we have to adapt. You cannot judge everybody and say, hey, you're bad, you're not bad. You know, when Jesus Christ was on the cross, if I may put this clip, there were two people, one on the other side and one on the other side. Now, one person said, if you are Jesus, then why don't you save yourself? And the other person said, no, you can't do that. He had to do this so that you and I may be saved, so that the people who did this to him may also be rescued. And Jesus turned his head and looked at the other person and said, you know what? You're going to be with me in paradise. But they're all thieves. They all deserved to be crucified. But Jesus saved the other person. He didn't condemn that you're a thief, you're going to do this and that. No, he just listened to them. Today you're going to be with me in paradise. And that's what happens. You have to be ready to be crucified. You have to be ready to, do what a leader does. Just be there and walk with them. Sometimes I walk along Tacoma and I see people hurting, homeless, for example. They're pushing their carts with nowhere to go. They are hoping that someday things are going to change. But you know what? They deserve better. If you go to the homes today, shelter homes, you will find so many people like this. They need one thing. They want to eat food. That's the first thing they want to do. And they want somewhere warm or comfortable to sleep and relax. And once they find a place to relax, you'll just find them relaxing and hoping that this day doesn't end, because that's what they needed. How about if you give them an opportunity and tell them, you know what? I'm ready to give you a second chance. That nobody tells them like that, because they know leaders somehow magically will find themselves there. But nobody's ready to tell them, hey, I just need that to vote so that I'm able to do what I'm able to do. And I'll say thank you if you do it, because that's the world we live in.
Is there a group of people that you believe that are currently overlooked or underserved?
Yes. There's so many, there are a couple of groups I should say. Well, many, yes. One of them are caregivers, health workers. These people sacrifice a lot. I've been a caregiver. I'm a caregiver, by the way. I do care for families. I do care for sick people and elderly. And often these people work for many hours with very little pay, with no health care, with no measures in place or plans in place for them to have good accommodation.
Yeah.
We have families that are having a sick elderly And, you know, and I always say this, if I may tell you something, Tony, you're only an accident away from being that kind of person who will need care, or a sickness away, or just a little mistake, because they didn't choose to be where they are. They did. I mean, these are situations that can befall any family at any time. Caregivers need to be taken care of. And I wish these are some of the things that I'm going to do once I get to Olympia. Push for policies so that caregivers, regardless of who they are, have health care so that they're well taken care of. Caregivers that are taking care of our sick nurses, for example, healthcare workers of all levels needs to be taken care of. They need to be paid well. So that when you get sick, you know that there is someone who really cares. And let me say this, it's a calling because not everybody can do it. Not everyone can do it. The other day, I got a phone call from a text message and a phone call, someone asking me, hey, I have not been able to eat for 2 days because I don't have anybody to cook for me. I don't have anybody to do this and that. I have got a text message here. And I was like, I can organize for you to get to a group home so that someone may help you. And these are our neighbors. These are our people who are with us. Because nobody would want to go there and do a cleanup or even do a cooking and do stuff like that. But then the question is, how are you able to help this type of population?
Yeah.
How are you able to help them?
Yeah. Nick, one thing that I care about is the fact that you said that you feel like that caregivers are underserved. And oh my God, I feel that. I'm a part of a community of caregivers that have long been ignored. And I'll give you a scenario or an example. Part of the reason why I started this show was not because I'm in love with politics. I'll tell you, it gives me anxiety, right? but as being a caregiver and supporting my kid through an illness, which is called PANDAS. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It stands for pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorders. And it's associated with coccal infections, meaning a kid will have strep. It can not just be in the throat, but somewhere in the body, and it goes to their brain. And there's all different types of side effects that go in that. But there was a bill sent to the House. It passed through the House. I think it was 85-13 or something like that. And with this bill, it was good. It was bipartisan. But then it stopped pretty much at the Senate. And the reason was because they were questioning the legitimacy of it, or questioning pretty much everything. In my opinion, or what I've seen with my own eyes, they listened to the very same people that were gaslighting the parents, the caregivers in this situation. And I'm curious, if you were to go to the House of Representatives and let's say, you go to Olympia, and let's say that you have a bill like that, or you're presented with a bill like that from your constituents, how would you handle those priorities or make sure that a bill like that will get passed?
Very simple, Tony. I will ask them a question. You are not special from these people that are suffering. The fact that you're in this house, whether a representative or a senator, does not make you be indispensable. Tomorrow you will be in that situation. Then you'll turn around and say, okay, we're going to do this. And I'll pose this question. You may not have gone through these things that our people are going through. You may not even have a child who is going through this problem. You may not even have a family member. But put yourself in those shoes, the shoes of those people. You know what? I don't want to use I don't want to use bad word, but I would just look at them straight in the eyes, and I would tell them, pass that bill and let's help these people. Because otherwise it will be so shameful if we are not able to do justice to these people. Because then what's the use? Why are we here? Why are we in the House of Representatives if you cannot help these people who are suffering? Yet tomorrow, stuff like this will affect us. Let me tell you, even if you're a representative or a senator, that does not mean that you're immune to some of these things that are happening. Tomorrow, you will face through the same thing. You may go back to try and be reelected, and then you will not be reelected, and things will change for you, and you'll start regretting, I wish I would have done that when I was able to. Because what comes around, turns around. Down the road, you're going to meet the same situation that you perhaps would have been able to solve. And I tell people all the time, you don't know what is around the corner. And that's a fact. The way seasons change, that's how seasons change for our lives too. Because nothing lasts forever, Tony. Nothing lasts forever. But I tell you what, caregivers they need care. They need some kind of a dignity. They need to be protected. They deserve dignity and protection, to say the least. They need support. They need to be provided compassion.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, are there any policies that you're thinking about when it comes to caregivers or different things that you feel like that would help?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Fair wages, for example. Affordable and accessible health insurance, for example. Recognition of some sort. Support. They need to be supported. They need to be recognized. If I'm a caregiver, I should be able to access health insurance. Because the same way we do it for our military, we should also be able to do it for our caregivers as well. There is need for some form of supporting the community. If I go to the grocery and I show my badge, I'm a caregiver, I should be able to be supported in some sort of way, get 10% or something. And that will attract more people to do caregiving. And that will help those that are vulnerable in our community. Right now, the need for CNAs is very high because I'm also a nurse. The need for nurses is very high. People don't want these professions because of what it entails and what they have to go through and all that. But why do we have to get them and put them in this category? Yet they're the ones who suffer most. It's the same way we take care of our police force, because the police, the law enforcement are more visible. We see what they do. But the caregiver will be behind the curtains doing his or her work, but you may not be able to see. Yet when stuff happens to you down the road, you'll, okay, there's a caregiver here.
All right. Thank you. Is there, these are kind of questions about decision making. What's an issue to where you feel like you're willing to compromise? Because I know you have to make a lot of decisions, but you're willing to compromise. And what's an issue that you simply won't compromise?
I will not compromise about safety. Anything that, is to do with safety of the community, that is a no compromisable issue because it involves life. And we only have one life. You compromise safety, you compromise life. If we had 9 lives, then it's a compromise. But unfortunately, we don't. Once someone is dead, is dead. So safety is paramount in our community. It should never be compromised. Once you lose a dear one, that wound doesn't end. I've just told you that I lost my son 3 years ago here in Puyallup, and the wound is still there. And this is not something that I would want every family to go through. So anything that compromises safety, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Anything that compromises the well-being of a family is a no-no. There are things that are straight up the way it is. And, those are principles that you cannot bend.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like I'm hearing a passion for caregivers, a passion for safety. That's what I'm hearing, and just a passion for fighting for people all together. Am I if, with those three things? Am I getting that right about you?
Yes, exactly. And of course, when you talk about people, we're talking about the well-being of the people, and well-being includes the healthcare, good education. Every family would need to be able to take their kids to school, and schools needs to be safe as well. Families should not be worried. By the way, Tony, this is something else that I would also probably want to talk about. Many families are opting um, to do homeschooling because their schools are not safe. But leaders need to come out very clearly and say, hey, our schools are safe. Take your kids to school. I don't have any child in school, but these are conversations that I'm hearing from people, because all sorts of things are happening. But it's up to the leaders to talk about this openly, use the power of the political power that they have through the media to tell people, please take your kids to school, and then talk to the school leaders and the school district leaders. We need our schools safe.
Yeah,
What can we do? What can we do to make our schools safe? And find out who are these people who are not able to take their schools safe. I got one family already, by the way, who are afraid to take their kids to school. Because like I said, I'm a person, I get people from all walks of life coming for prayer and coming to church. Oh, we don't want to take my young girl to school because of rape and shooting and all that. Really? Yes. And they have a point to say this. They have a point.
mm-hmm.
But then the question is, who is going to address the issue? It's the leader of the community. And if the leader of the community is in absentia, is in Olympia sitting there waiting for the next cycle of election, the problem is going to be a vicious, circulate viciously, because schools are not safe. And that's a fact. They are not safe. We hear of school shootings and all that. It doesn't choose which state it's going to be next. But before it comes to Washington, we need to put certain things in place so that the family is stronger, so that they're able to get quality and education. Now, my dad once told me that when you educate a child, especially when you educate a young girl, you're educating a family. So if kids get good education today, they make better leaders for tomorrow.
Thank you.
An investment.
Thank you. That's so beautifully said. I could definitely tell that you are a pastor. I love the way that you speak. I'm just like mesmerized by it, you know?
Thank you.
Oh man. So
Thank you.
Nick, let's imagine, right? You got a good imagination?
Okay.
All right. I know I said, do you have a good imagination?
Yes, I do,
All right.
Tony. I do.
So let's imagine that you and we're sitting here exactly 1 year from today, because I like to do
Yes.
follow-ups, right?
Yes. 1 year from
And
today.
you get elected. You are a state representative for the state of Washington.
Right.
What would you hope that you've accomplished that the voters could point out and say, you know what? That doggone Nick, he kept his word. What would be that one thing?
Tony, it's more than one thing. I just said I would hope for that family to come and tell me, now I can take my kids to school and I don't have any fear that this is going to happen. That is number one.
Do you think that you'll be able to do stuff in office in your first term to where you could satisfy that?
I will push for policies. From what I see, if you're just going to sit there and wait for something to happen, it's not going to happen. But there's got to be someone who will get the word out there. I need this to be done. And it has to be done right now. And in one way or the other, it has to be done. Even if it's coming to you, Tony, can you magnify this as a journalist for me? Because I want it to be done. I want this to be passed. I want the Senate. I'll go to them, please, I need this to be done, like today. That's why I'm here. It's not going to be a business as usual. This is a new kid on the block. And they'll be like, where are you coming from? Are you? I said, yes, I've been sent here. History's been made. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
That's just one thing. That's just one thing. Some of all these things that I've been talking about, except in the community, for example, we want to see statistics of cars being stolen, crime being committed in our community, go down next year. That's my imagination. I want to hear in the news that for the last 1 year in District 25, we've never had this and that. I want to see construction taking place. These are practical examples. I can't promise that miracles are going to happen and sky trains are going to boom. But at least stuff that in 5 years' time, people are going to look back and say, you know what, we once had this guy who we elected made history, but at least now we have, things getting done.
I love it. I love it.
I want to see a caregiver say, hey, I have health insurance now. I'm a CNA, nurse, and all that. I have insurance and I'm enjoying my job. That's the same way a patient would come back and say, thank you for caring for me. God bless you. And that makes a caregiver happy because that's a calling. You cannot pay for it. It's not paying, just like my job. It's a calling. Nobody can do what I'm doing. I get people. The reason why I call it a calling is because you're able to tolerate things that not everybody can tolerate.
Yeah.
That's what makes the difference between a good leader and a bad leader.
Great. At the end of your first term, how would you measure whether or not you've been successful?
When people come to me and say thank you.
Okay.
It's clear feedback.
I love it. So it sounds, it's okay. I like that. So what I'm hearing is not your seatmates telling you you're doing a good job, but the people. That's what I just heard you say.
People, the community. Yes, not my fellow legislator. No. We just team up to do the job. But when the community, the decision maker who voted, if they come back and say thank you, then that's a memorable thing for me, that I guess I've done a good job. And I say, you're welcome, because that's what you sent me to do.
Okay. What is one promise that you've heard candidates make that you feel like it's unrealistic? And, basically because of the way that the government makes. Have you heard like any of the candidates make unrealistic promises?
Yes. We always make those unrealistic jobs. Oh, the price of bread is going to go down. Oh, I'm going to get a job and all. I mean, these are very good things, but you just don't get them done. Oh, I'm going to construct the pavement, for instance. I'm going to do this and that and all that. There are those issues that, whether we like it or not, are affected by the decisions that are made in Washington in one way or the other. Now, those ones depend on, those kind of decisions depend on how the voter votes, and of course the number of people that are there and how they're able to push for those policies. And the leader, the president, depends on the president, his policies and all that. And so you may, as a legislator, I may, for example, promise something that clearly this one I cannot solve. A good example which I would say is immigration, for instance. Immigrants are suffering big time over here. Now that's a federal matter. It's up to the federal. I mean, the voters elected a president who I would openly say doesn't believe in the immigration policy, and everybody does not. I mean, and I know it's a controversial issue, but to be real, they are helping this economy in one way or the other.
I wonder why it's such a controversial issue.
Yeah, because we are selfish, Tony. We are very selfish. It's just me, my family, and I. I want people who I don't want anybody else around me. And so it's a replica effect. We're humans. We just want people like ourselves. Just come and do this for me, but I don't want you to stay with me. Once you're done, go your way. That's the human thing. Now, unfortunately, this is not something that I can promise that I will have, because it's a ripple effect. We all have to come together, change our mindset, and then be able to do it. But unless you're able to change your mindset, that is a problem that was remembers. Now, Washington as a state is a very diversified state. And that is the reason why it's doing very well. If you ask me as a pastor, the Bible says this, that the person who welcomed the foreigner was blessed, and God remembered them. Anybody who accepts the foreigner, and I hope people will understand me here, will always be blessed and accepted. Because that's a fact. It's like giving, for example. When you give one way or the other, you will get it back. These are principles that we as humans need to understand. We really don't need to be selfish about them. When someone comes here for refuge, let's accept them. Let's be good to them. Let's give them water, because that's the most human thing that we can do. And let them help our community so that we may live together, because tomorrow we may need them. So stuff like that, I can't promise that I'll help, but I'll push for the stuff that will be able to help. But that being said, at the end of the day, we need safe communities. We need us to work together. And everybody needs to find their place in their community, because that's what matters. And so me as a person, as an immigrant, I know what America has done for me. And so whatever I'm doing is a way of giving back to the community, because I came here and I was able to find a refuge. I was able to find a place. I was able to work hard. I'm able to help the communities and all that. And that's exactly what I would want to do as well.
Thank you. Every elected official has to, at one point or another, cast a vote that will disappoint someone. When that day comes, what do you want people to know how you arrived at your decision?
Make it very clear that I did not vote for this. This is not my principle. This is not who I am. And this is not the reason why you send me here.
Okay.
Make it very clear to the community, because they're the ones who determine who their leader is. Like I said, sometimes we have to be, look for a win-win situation. And so I'll make it clear, I've tried my best so that we compromise on these, so that we win and they win. So that nobody is left bare. Win-win situation is 50-50. When you're in business with someone, you don't have to be the greedy one taking everything. Just take your 50 and let them take their 50, and we're all happy. And we live for another day.
Thank you. Once you get into office, how do you plan on communicating with the people? And the reason that I'm asking you this is that same scenario where I told you where many families were disappointed because with this bill, we didn't hear anything back. And we kind of heard something back a couple days before what was going on and why these decisions were being made. And I'm curious, like, how would you, after you've made a decision, how would you communicate that with the people? And I'm saying, like, is it social media? Is it accepting phone calls? Is it emails? How would that work? What would that system look like for you?
Social media is very strong, by the way. Social media is powerful. You cannot underestimate because, people have their phones with them and they see what's happening. The other way of communicating is just, going to the people themselves, visit communities. Why would I only visit homes when I need your vote? Why can't I also come to your house and say, you know what, this is not what I voted for? Or how am I doing? I will come to you. I'm ready to knock your houses. I'm ready to be a guest, for example. I wonder how many legislators are ready to be guests of their voters. They go knocking many legislators go knocking their doors, but once they get the vote, they forget about it, they go. But I'm not going to do that. I'll still come and knock. Hey, this is your legislator here. I know we did this. What do you think about it? I go someone else. What do you think about it? Okay, I'm going to be in this place. If you want to meet me, please come and meet me. Let's have a conversation.
So are you telling
I go
me,
to the stores.
Are you telling me as a legislator, you're still going to do the things that you're doing right now, door knocking,
Exactly,
going to
Tony.
community
100%.
events and asking questions? I love that. If that's
100%, Tony. 100%. I will still go to the community. I will still go to the parking lots. I will still go to the stores and meet people, to the parks to meet people and work with them, talk to them face to face, have meetings and all that. Go to their stores and coffee shops and all that. Sit down with them and tell me, what would you want me to do? What do you think about this? Absolutely, because that's leadership for me. I know it doesn't happen, but that's why I'm running, because I want to do something different.
Oh man, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
I'll tell you, sounds like we're getting that. Nick, I'm curious.
Yes.
Are there any questions that you're like, oh man, I hope Tony would ask me this today that I didn't ask you already?
Tony, you've been very good in asking all the questions, and I like the way you bring them nicely. They're tough questions, but you're hitting them nicely. But I'm glad that I've been able to answer them. My only thing is that I hope some of these questions that I have answered, and some of them are very important, some of them are very practical, some of them are, just the way they are. It'll get to the voter. Those that are deciding, should I give him a trial or not? I hope they're able to make a decision. But one thing I do know is that I'm not going to let you down. This will be someone who will be listening to you. I'm bringing a new kind of leadership, which I do hope will, resonate and spread, to the others as well, from Washington to other parts of the country. The other thing that perhaps I would also want to say, as a man of faith, is, America was founded on faith, and everybody knows about that. Our forefathers were people of faith, but I don't know what happened to America. This is not a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. This is a culture thing, culture of prayer. But leaders have to be able to bring in this. The problem that is happening is that we have become hypocrites. We support this, but we pretend to be this. We pretend to be that, but we are this. I'm not going to be hypocrite. What you see is what I am. I just say it as it is.
Thank you. I'm curious, as we have this whole thing with church and state, can you assure the voters, or how can you assure the voters that that there will be a separation of like your beliefs versus the legislature that you're bringing through?
And that's very simple, Tom. A church is a place where people pray. Not everybody who is in church who is not in church should be condemned. We have other faiths. We have the Muslims. We have people who do not believe in, who don't practice at all. We have the Hindus. We have all this. But like I said before, they deserve the respect. They deserve to be taken care of. They deserve legislative, legislative. They deserve to be listened to say the least. They deserve to be listened, and that's clear separation for me. It's not about a church thing all the time. That thing is a cultural thing, which I have adapted as an individual, and I would pass it to anybody who believes in it. It's up to you to make that decision. But that doesn't mean that I cannot listen to anybody else. I will embrace them, regardless of who you are, whether you're LGBTQ or you're a Muslim or you're a Sikh, I will listen to you because I'm a leader of everybody. And you know why? Because that's what also the Bible says. Everybody. If I may take an example of Jesus, Jesus didn't send the Samaritan lady away. He listened to her and was even able to bless her. That's the example that I'm going to take. Listen to everybody, regardless of what they are and what they do and what their faith is. Just respect them. Respect who they are, or even if they don't have any faith. That's a separation from me. Because what matters is that we're all humans and we all deserve what is important for us as a community.
Before we wrap up, I would like to ask you a favor and let you have the last word. And I'll pop you up on the screen so it's just you. But if you would, I would like you to look directly in the camera and speak to the voters as if this was the last time that they were going to hear from you, and that they're going to cast their ballot. I'm talking about Nick. They got their phone. They got their phone. They're scrolling and they're looking at this video because they want to see who this Nick guy is. And they land on this exact moment. What would you say to them before they cast their ballot? And then we're gonna land this plane here.
Name is Nick Oloo. And for years, you've been looking for someone who is compassionate, who has integrity, who is able to listen, who is able to work with you. And that's exactly who I am. And so I want to say this, that I will be honored to earn your vote because I'm going to be compassionate. I'm going to lead with a difference. I'm going to lead with integrity. And I'm going to lead with example. I know there's so much at stake that needs to be taken care of in our district and in this state. And I'm coming in with a different kind of leadership that will make a difference in our community. And so I want to ask you to try me. And I promise I'm not going to let you down because I'm going to be there for you when you need me. You, the mother, single mother. You, the father, single father. You, the family unit. You, the caregiver. You, the driver. You, the nurse. You, the roadside worker. You, the student. You, the health worker. And I could go on and mention all those, whatever you're doing. I will be your representative with a difference. And I'll make sure that I am available when you need me. When you need to say something. When you need someone to listen to you. When the whole world turns their back against you, your representative will be there to listen to you. And you'll find out, what can I do for you? I don't promise having enough, but I will listen and I will try my best to help you and to do what I gotta do and to make sure that you sent me and I'm doing what you have asked me to do.
Ooh, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.